Yes, in fact, it's come out in different court hearings, or it's not even court hearings. I don't think he even goes to court when they taser people and kill them. That the police were now using tasers for compliance. Compliance that's what it's all about now. Compliance. You comply. You do what you're told. There's no such thing as rights anymore. You're taught to simply obey or else. But sadomasochistic techniques have been bombarded into the public's brains by movies for the last 40 years.
Well, the headline out of New York State, stay there, we're going to come back and finish up on that, Alan. One of the headlines was in New York, believe it was AP, judge rules police can taser to make you answer questions. But you have a Fifth Amendment. Or court rules they can taser you to give DNA sample. I mean, you're in a gurney, strapped down, and they're tasering you over and over again, just enjoying it. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a scientific kill grid. Thousands of government documents say once the scientific dictatorship is in place, and they're getting close, they're not going to just soft kill a few million here and there. They're going to just kill in mass. Alan Watts, our guest. I want to go to Alex, Shannon, Dirk, Kay, Tim, and others. But, Alan, I see a blurring of reality and fiction with all these fake drills, or Russia attacked Georgia. It was a lie 2 years ago. It's a lie now when they ran the newscast nationwide. The people are very angry in Georgia. They have all these TV shows where they don't tell you it's real or not. They announce they've captured an al-Qaeda leader sometimes 14, 15 times, never retract the last time. They're scientifically setting the precedent where they just lie and deceive all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's a technique, too, because, you see, this is it's a war off terror, not on terror. It's a war off terror. You always use terroristic techniques on the vast population when you're drastically changing quickly into a new system, and you want that for obedience and compliance, and that's what we're seeing happening now. But when you see, there's so many television series out now on terrorism, and government agencies dealing with it all. It's all so far-fetched and crazy scenarios, but people are lapping that stuff up. They can't tell fact from fiction anymore. They see the guys in the streets with the combat boots, the cops, and all the rest of it. It's all quite normal to them. And what happens is you get into a state of flux. They call it flux at the top, where you can't rationalize reality and separate it from fiction and use your own perceptions to say, am I really under attack right now, or is it mainly in my head? But all the symbols are giving you is that you're under attack, comply, obey. And they can rush forward a whole agenda with rationing, fuel rationing, which will come to as they get us off the roads gradually into the new system. And as they're doing it, yes, they will step up the decadence within society, because when in the feudal systems, they knew that when they brought out someone who'd fought against them, a hero like like William Wallace, for instance, the peasantry would turn up, living in their own misery, and they would actually hate someone who tried and failed, and they'd watch him being drawn and quartered and sliced up in a ritualistic killing on behalf of the king. And they'd cheer because they hate the losers. The public hate the losers. They know within themselves they're losers themselves, and they transfer it onto the victim who stood up and had the guts to stand up, but actually lost. This is the same technique they're showing you now. They're telling you you're nobody, you're weak, obey and maybe survive. If you don't obey, you definitely will not survive, because we'll get you. That's the message now. And they've borrowed all the terms that they used to use in the Soviet Union, like political correctness is a direct translation from them. So is
hate crime,
anti-government. Any statement, any criticism of any policy at all is called now you're anti-government.
And they're trying to.
The opposition party is the most anti-government party around.
Well, we love our country, we fear and don't like our government, if we have common sense. Here are some of the headlines. Kucinich kisses the ring as Obama deceptively sells totalitarian care in Ohio. Kucinich sells out on health care after riot in Air Force One. When I saw that photo yesterday, I knew Kucinich had sold out, with Obama smiling triumphantly. He's the type of psycho that hates America, hates good people. They enjoy destroying you. They enjoy making you poor. And now this medical tyranny that does have the ration care, does have the death panels, it's all coming in now, Alan.
Matt, you also get to compulsory sterilization. That will be on the books, because look who's up there. Mr. Holdren, that wrote the book with Paul Ehrlich. Paul Ehrlich's wife is a high member of the Trilateral Commission and Council on Foreign Relations. And they wrote about that years ago, that they would bring in mandatory sterilization for the unfit, and that's coming down.
Yeah, they're saying now, look at this mother that had a genetic problem and she had a kid. We need pre-screening to license you to have kids. And then, we have been taking your blood at birth for the Pentagon for 37 years. Globally, it started 37 years ago. We were in a world government 37 years ago.
Yeah, we were. And again, generations haven't even known it. But the big, apart from the Federal Reserve getting created back in the early World War One, the fact there'd be no World War I if it wasn't for that being created. But the fact is, when FDR gave you the New Deal, that was the announcement of this is the new way, this is a new system, this supersedes the Constitution, the Constitution's out the window, and the bankers and so on, we're running the show. It was a legal declaration. Yeah.
Absolutely, and he declared the War Powers Act in 1933 and put the country into a permanent emergency, and that's what we're still under today.
Yeah. So we've never had such a thing as there was a republic in the U.S. That's been wiped out. In fact, the CFR's own writers in their own magazine, the Foreign Affairs, said that we'll do an end run around the Constitution. In other words, ignore it and go around it. They've done that.
And the SPP documents say we're going to set up the North American Union by stealth. Okay, I promise. We're going right to your calls out of this break with your key questions for Alan Watt and myself. We'll be right back as sitescuttingthematrix.com. I want to be clear here. The globalists are not gods. They're not invincible. They're organized. They control the issuance of currency and credit. We can take back our town councils in England, our counties, our cities in the United States and Canada by education, by showing people the false reality that they've been living in and educating them about tyrants of history. And now this is a high-tech version. We can cut big government. We can support the family. We can trust in our Creator to lead God and direct us, not the big organized religion. There is a big awakening happening, and the globalists are trying to manipulate that and control that. But their global warming taxes are in trouble. The record numbers didn't take the swine flu shot or the seasonal flu, so we had record low flu. That was in Wall Street Journal, because it's the shot that gives you the flu, all the evidence shows. The people are trying to get healthier. That's why they're trying to wreck all the agriculture and industry where you are totally dependent on them. So even if you're awake, there's nothing you can do. And we're very close to entering a time when it's going to be even harder to beat these people. But I see a lot of positive things happening. Alan Watt, what do you see on the positive front? Then we're going to calls.
Well, I think people will be standing up more on an individualistic basis. As you know, groups are penetrated so darn quickly and taken over very, very quickly because they've got unlimited financing at the top and unlimited agents, basically, to go and do that. I've got reports here of them doing it in Canada recently as well, and living it undercover with far-left groups, and in Britain, too.
Well, they're out of control in Austin. Yeah. They're just out-of-control operations here in Austin, yeah. But it's having no effect, and people are seeing through them.
Yes, and that's the key to it. If you retain your individuality and you mix with different people, you think you're a group, whenever you see it veer off from its initial intent, then you know you've been taken over. You've got to, and then you leave it. You don't submerge yourself and lose yourself within the group. You must always think as an individual and keep your mind on track. That's the key to everything. And the boys at the top, now here's the thing too, they've taught us to think that everything is fair and that we live in some kind of democracy where everyone gets to say, and those who make the most sense will always win. The big boys at the top do not and never have played by any fair rules. If you want power and you want to maintain power, you don't play by the rules. That's why they don't care if they're caught out with all their lies. They continue regardless, as though they never heard you. And they'll stoop to nothing to get their way. If it's blowing up buildings or a whole city, they will do it if need be. If need be. And we've got to understand that. Never to panic when we see these things come down the pike.
And that's why they're so... I agree with you. That's why they're so angry at 9/11 Truth and demonizing it everywhere, because we've taken their toy of false flag terror, and now people are automatically thinking, is it the government, Key Bono, who stands to gain? And it's really angering them.
Mm-hmm. it's angering them, and they put so much money out, and groups, again, anti-groups, you might say, and propaganda from the Pentagon through various agencies that appear as independent news clips. And I've read articles from the Pentagon where they actually do this to brainwash the public and try and poo-poo it. And these silly radicals with their crazy paranoid ideas and repetition of language like that, that's what they hope to win over the general public with. The general public, unfortunately, as I say, you cannot live in reality if you're consuming daily television fiction. Fiction is not fiction to entertain you, it's there to indoctrinate you. And I've lost count. I've tried to keep track of all the shows that come out since.
All the messages, the anti-family, anti-gun, anti-homeschool, anti-free market, anti-pro-world government, all the messages and cartoons about the Illuminati making it a joke. I'm going to make this point and then go to calls.